in Singapore without even realizing it, and today I'm going to show you the trick your bank hopes you never find. Right now, thousands of people just like you are walking past a hidden ATM that only dispenses money to those who know the secret code. And I'm not talking about some illegal scheme or offshore loophole. I'm talking about your CPF. If you've ever stared at your CPF statement at 2 a.m., unable to sleep, wondering why your retirement savings feel like someone else's money, you're not paranoid. The system is designed to keep you from accessing your own funds. But in 2019, the Institute of Policy Studies revealed something the government quietly hoped would stay buried in a 247-page report that almost nobody read. Meet Uncle Chen, 58 years old, taxi driver for 32 years, calloused hands, bad knees. He discovered a legal loophole by complete accident when his HDB loan officer made a passing comment during a refinancing meeting. What he did next added $47,000 to his usable cash. And it's something anyone watching this video can replicate in less than a week. But wait, before we begin, please subscribe to ensure that you never miss out on any of my essential stuff. Comment, "I subscribe," below, and I will personally welcome you to our community. With that said, let's get started. Singapore's CPF system holds over $500 billion. That's roughly $140,000 per working adult. Sounds incredible, right? Here's the cruel twist. Most Singaporeans will die with 70% of that money still locked inside the system. According to a 2022 report by the Singapore Management University Centre for Silver Security, the average retiree only accesses 23% of their total CPF before death. Let that sink in. Your money, your labor, decades of 11-hour workdays, missed family dinners, back pain, stress. But not really yours. Sarah Tan couldn't sleep. 34 years old, marketing executive, married with a 4-year-old daughter who kept asking why mommy looked so tired. It was 11 p.m. on a Wednesday when Sarah logged into her CPF account, scrolling aimlessly through pages she'd looked at 100 times before. That's when she saw it. A tiny hyperlink buried in the special account section. 4 words, investment scheme transfers. Nobody at her company's HR briefing had mentioned it. Not one of her friends knew it existed. She clicked. What she discovered made her physically sick. Not because something was wrong with her account, but because she suddenly understood how much money her parents, retired for 8 years now, had left rotting on the table. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Your CPF isn't one account. It's 3 invisible vaults with different locks, different interest rates, and different rules about when you can touch your own money. Ordinary account. This is where your monthly contributions land first. You can use it for housing, insurance, approved investments. Sounds flexible, right? It earns 2.5% interest. In an era where inflation averages 3.2%, you're actually losing purchasing power every year. Special account. Locked until you turn 55. Earns 4% interest. Better than OA. But most people have no idea how to maximize this strategically. MediSave. Healthcare only. Or so they tell you. But here's where things get interesting. In 2023, a CPF member discovered they had $89,000 in unused MediSave that could be redirected. But here's the part everyone gets wrong. Uncle Chen didn't wake up one morning planning to hack the CPF system. He was just trying to survive. After 27 years of taxi driving, his back screamed every time he sat down. His daughter had just graduated university with a degree in biomedical engineering, his pride and joy, but student debt wasn't a thing he had prepared for. In 2019, he made his final payment on his 4-room HDB flat in Ong Mo Kio. He expected to feel relief. Instead, he felt poorer. Because $180,000 of his CPF ordinary account had been drained over 20 years to pay that mortgage. 2 months later, he went to refinance a small personal loan. The bank officer, a young woman named Grace, mentioned something casual. You know, since your flat is paid off, you could voluntarily refund your CPF and let it grow in your special account instead. Wait, I can put money back into CPF. Grace nodded like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Here's the genius of what Chen did. When you refund money back into CPF after paying off property, it goes into your special account. which earns 4% instead of the ordinary account's 2.5%. Chen refunded $50,000. He's now 58. In 7 years, when he turns 65, that money will have generated an extra $14,000 in compounded interest compared to if he'd left it in OA. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Southeast Asian Economics found that less than 3% of eligible Singaporeans use this strategy. 3%. Why? Because nobody tells you it exists. It's completely legal. The CPF board even encourages it in paragraph 4.2.7 of their member handbook. They just don't advertise it. No posters in MRT stations. No SMS reminders. Just buried in a PDF that requires 18 clicks to find. Here's something that will blow your mind. Only 230,000 out of 3 million CPF members have ever opened a CPF investment account. Most people don't even know it exists. You can invest your CPF funds, money you've already earned, into approved stocks, bonds, ETFs, and keep all the returns. Not just the 2.5% interest. All the returns. Priya discovered this at age 42. She'd been teaching secondary school mathematics for 19 years, and one of her students' parents worked in private banking. During a parent-teacher meeting, he casually mentioned, "You're leaving so much CPF growth on the table." Priya did her research. She opened a CPF investment account and moved $40,000 from her ordinary account into a portfolio of blue-chip Singapore stocks. Over 3 years, her investments grew to $58,000. Then she tried to withdraw. That's when she discovered the cruel truth. You must maintain $20,000 in your ordinary account and $40,000 in your special account at all times. She was locked out of her own profits. The CPF website mentions this rule, but it's buried beneath layers of terms and conditions. Priya had violated the minimum sum requirement without realizing it. Her money was trapped. Here's the safer alternative. Only invest money above these minimums. And focus on dividend-paying stocks that generate passive income without needing to sell. Priya eventually learned this lesson. She restructured her portfolio, kept her minimums intact, and now earns $2,400 per year in dividends that flow directly into her CPF. But she lost 2 years figuring this out the hard way. Singapore gives you a gift every year, wrapped in tax code, and most people throw it away without opening it. You can claim up to $8,000 in tax relief by topping up your CPF or your parents' CPF special or retirement accounts. But almost nobody maximizes it. Marcus is 38. Finance manager. He earns $120,000 a year and was paying $28,000 in income tax. That's money gone. Vaporized. In 2022, his tax consultant showed him something he'd never considered. Marcus topped up his parents' CPF with $14,000. $7,000 for his father. $7,000 for his mother. Both were over 55 and still working part-time. That $14,000 top-up gave him $14,000 in tax relief. His tax bill dropped by $3,080. Effectively, he made a 22% return instantly. His parents got money they could access at retirement. Marcus reduced his tax burden. Everyone won. According to IRA's data from 2022, only 180,000 people used this scheme despite 1.2 million being eligible. Why? Because it requires paperwork, a bank transfer, 30 minutes of effort, and nobody sends you a reminder. But there's an even darker trick involving CPF life that most retirees never see coming. When you turn 65, the CPF board forces you to make a decision. You receive a letter in the mail with 3 options: standard plan, basic plan, escalating plan. You have 30 days to choose. After that, if you don't respond, they auto-enroll you into standard. Mei Li is 64 years old. She spent 40 years as a seamstress in a small factory off Jalan Besar. Her hands are gnarled from arthritis. She received the letter on a Tuesday. 3 pages of technical jargon. No financial advisor. No hotline that spoke Hokkien. Just a checkbox and a deadline. She chose standard because it was pre-selected and highlighted in a blue box. It felt like the safe choice. 20 years later, May is 84. Still alive, thank God, but barely getting by. That's when her niece, who works in insurance, sat down with her and ran the numbers. May had lost $35,000 in potential payouts compared to if she'd chosen the basic plan. Why? Because standard plan gives you higher monthly payouts initially, but doesn't increase with inflation as aggressively as basic. Over 20+ years, the gap becomes a chasm. A 2020 study by Lianhe Zhaobao found that 68% of CPF life enrollees didn't understand the difference between the plans when they made their choice. They just checked a box and hoped. But here's the good news. If you're not 65 yet, you can prepare. You can model each scenario. You can consult a financial advisor. You can make an informed decision instead of a pressured guess. If you used CPF to buy your HDB flat, and let's be honest, who didn't? There's a silent lien on your property that most people forget exists until it's too late. When you sell your flat, every dollar you took from CPF must be returned with 2.5% compounded interest. Not the selling price. Not the profit. The original loan plus decades of accumulated interest. The Lim family bought their flat in Toa Payoh in 1995 for $250,000. They used $80,000 from CPF for the down payment and initial payments. Over 28 years, they made cash payments for the rest, scrimped, saved, raised 2 kids. In 2023, they sold the flat for $650,000. They were ecstatic. Finally, breathing room. Maybe a cruise. Maybe help their children with their own down payments. Then came the CPF bill. $167,000. That's $80,000 principal plus 28 years of 2.5% compounded interest. Their windfall evaporated. Savvy Singaporeans now use cash for down payments wherever possible and save CPF for higher interest accounts. It's a long-term wealth strategy that requires discipline, but the math is undeniable. Here's a secret that could put cash in your pocket within 7 days. Once you hit 65, any Medisave above the basic healthcare sum, currently $68,500, can be withdrawn as cash. Mr. Krishnan is 67. Retired civil servant. He attended a community workshop on accident. His wife signed them up thinking it was a cooking class. Instead, it was a CPF literacy session run by a volunteer financial counselor. That's when he learned he had $43,000 in excess Medisave. It had been sitting there, untouched, for 2 years since he turned 65. Nobody told him. No letter. No alert. He withdrew $20,000 within a week. Completely legally. Completely his. CPF internal data shows that over $2 billion in excess Medisave remains unclaimed by eligible retirees annually. $2 billion. Just sitting there. Wait. That's actually legal? Yes. But only if you know to check. Forget chasing one trick. The real power comes from combining all of these strategies across your lifetime. This is the compound strategy. Age 30 to 40. Max out voluntary CPF contributions for tax relief every single year. Simultaneously invest OA surplus into approved ETFs or dividend stocks while maintaining your minimums. Age 41 to 54. Once your property is paid off, or close to it, execute the housing refund strategy. Move money from OA at 2.5% into SA at 4%. Let compound interest do the heavy lifting. Age 55 to 64. Plan your CPF life selection carefully. Don't just check a box. Model all 3 scenarios with a financial advisor. Run the numbers based on your life expectancy, health, and financial needs. Age 65 and beyond. Immediately check for excess Medisave. Withdraw it quarterly if eligible. Don't let your own money gather dust. David Wong is 58 now. But at 32, he made a decision that changed everything. He started consistently topping up $8,000 per year to claim maximum tax relief. At 50, after his HDB was fully paid, he refunded $120,000 back into his special account. By 55, he had accumulated $680,000 in CPF. His projected CPF life payout? $3,100 per month until death. His colleague at the same company, same salary, who did nothing? $1,750 per month. Over 25 years of retirement, that's $405,000 more in total income. Same job, same contributions. Different strategy. But before you rush to your laptop, here's what can go wrong. Risk number 1. Investing CPF funds requires discipline and nerves of steel. Market crashes can wipe out gains, and you still have to maintain those minimum sums. If you panic sell during a downturn, you've just locked in losses with money that was growing safely at 2.5% to 4%. Risk number 2. Housing refunds only make sense if your property is fully paid and you don't need ordinary account liquidity for emergencies or other goals. If you refund too much too early, you could trap yourself. Risk number 3. Tax relief top-ups tie your money until 65. Make absolutely sure you have 6 to 12 months of emergency funds elsewhere before you lock cash into CPF, no matter how good the tax benefits look. The government won't stop you from making mistakes. They'll process your transactions, sure, but they won't hold your hand. Now you know the safer path. Here's what nobody wants to talk about. CPF was designed in 1955 when life expectancy was 60 years old. The system worked because people worked until 55, retired, and died within a few years. Grim, but mathematically sound. No. Singaporeans live to 85. Some to 90. The system is creaking under assumptions made 70 years ago in a completely different world. According to a 2023 parliamentary report, CPF adequacy ratios, the measure of whether your CPF is enough to sustain retirement, have dropped 18% since 2010. Translation: the system is falling behind. The tricks I've shared today, they're not hacks. They're not schemes. They're survival strategies in a system that wasn't designed for how long we now live or how expensive life has become. You're not gaming the system. You're finally understanding it. And that's not just your right, it's your responsibility to yourself and your family. Remember Sarah from the beginning? She didn't just discover these strategies. She taught them to her parents. Together, they recovered $23,000 in excess Medisave that had been sitting untouched. They refunded $80,000 from their paid-off flat into higher interest special accounts. Her father cried. Not because of the money, though God knows it helped, but because someone finally explained what was his all along. Decades of labor. Decades of sacrifice. Finally accessible. Finally understood. So here's my question for you. Would you use these strategies, or do you think the risks outweigh the rewards? Some people say CPF should stay untouched, that it's meant to be inaccessible for your own good. Others call these tricks unethical, even though they're perfectly legal. Drop a comment below and let me know where you stand. Are you team maximize every dollar, or team play it safe? And if you want me to break down the exact CPF life calculator strategy, the one that shows you which plan is mathematically optimal based on your specific situation, let me know and I'll make that video next. Because here's the thing. In 20 years, you'll either be grateful you learned this, or regretful you didn't.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Singapore.